Hey, welcome back to the Brew Gnome channel. I'm Mike.
And I'm Joey.
And today we're going to be going through a 5-gallon batch of wit beer from Northern Brewer. So sit back and relax and we'll show you how it's done.
Okay, on today's episode, this kit brings a total of 2 ounces of German Hersbrucker hops, a total of 1 ounces of coriander seeds, 1 ounces of orange peels, and 1 packet of T58 dry yeast. And then also, this is an 8-pound grain build. It has 3.5 pounds of Weyermann pale wheat, 3.5 pounds of Belgian Pilsner, and one pound of flaked oats. Okay, so we're gonna need a few things: a mixing spoon, a wort chiller, hop spider, measuring container, and some Irish moss.
We'll also have a spray bottle for easy sanitation, our airlock, a hydrometer, which is going to be the first time we're using it. We have our fermenter. We also have our stock pot filled with a gallon of water for our sparge. And then we have the anvil sitting over there that has 5.5 gallons of water for the strike water. All right, so right now we're currently getting 5.5 gallons of water set to 155 for our strike temperature. So as you see here, we got our anvil set up. We got it at 155. Our power is going to be at 100%. We're using 120 volts, and this is probably going to take around 1 hour till we get to that temperature. Alrighty, so we got up to temperature to 155 degrees. We're gonna start mashing in, which pretty much means we're gonna start pouring in our grains. Now this has a lot of flaked wheat, and unfortunately we don't have rice hulls at this time, so the recirculation might get a little messy, but we'll see where it goes. So we're slowly pouring. Joey, if you want to mix while I'm doing this. Alrighty, so we're going to start the pre-circulation. So we're going to drop the power down to 50%. And then we're just going to place our lid on top. And we're going to let this sit for about 10 minutes.
All right, so now we're going to start our circulation. And we're going to lift this lid up, move this, and we're going to give this a good stir. There it is. Okay, and then we're going to place this lid back on there, and we're going to start we're going to set up the pump. All right, so we're going to move this valve here.
Yep.
And then place this lid here. Put that there, and then we're going to turn on, where's the switch? Right here. Okay, and then we're going to want to adjust the tightness of the hose clamp and just make sure that it doesn't overflow. And then you want it at a slow to medium pour. All right, and what we want to do is keep the power between 50 to 80%. We want to start it off low, and what we'll want to do is adjust as needed so that way the fan doesn't constantly run. We're going to mash this for 1 hour. Every 15 minutes, we're going to stir. And we're going to lift the malt pipe and let this drain because we don't want to get a stuck mash. In about 40 minutes in, we're going to prep our sparge, and it's going to be 1 gallon at 170 degrees Fahrenheit.
So we already started the mash out process. So to start this, you want to turn your unit up to 170 degrees Fahrenheit and make the power at 100%. This will loosen the sugars in the grain. So as you're doing your sparge, it's going to be easier as you're rinsing and allowing the extra sugars to be extracted from there. So we're at 170. Like I said, we're going to pull the malt pipe. Oh! A little heavy. We're going to let that drain through. We'll put the lid on, and then I'm going to need the sparge water. I'm connected right now, so I probably cannot make it through there. And again, what this is doing is just grabbing any leftover sugars. So you want to do this slowly. Let me get a better pouring grip on here. And on top, with all these holes, it's going to allow it to distribute a lot easier instead of just pouring directly in the center. All right, so now that the sparge is over, if you have a big enough kettle, go ahead and place your malt pipe in there and just grab whatever wort is left. And we'll just set that off to a side. All right, so we're ready for the boil. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to turn the unit to 100%. And then we're going to change the temperature to 212. Okay, so the boil is going to be for an hour, but you're also going to want to set a second timer for 45 minutes so you could add in your wort chiller so we can make sure it's sanitized.
Okay, so we've reached our boiling point, and we're going to put in both packs of German Hersbrucker hops at the start of the boil. Okay, so now we're down to the last 10 minutes of the boil. We're going to put in our coriander seeds. And now we've reached the last minute of the boil, and we're going to put in our orange peels. Okay. We're going to grab our wort chiller, and we're going to cool down our wort between 60 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit. And the reason we want it down to this temperature is because we don't want to kill the yeast.
All right, now that our wort has brought down to 60, we're going to go ahead and move over the anvil to the table. And next, we're going to start pouring it into the fermenter. So we're going to go ahead and add the yeast, starting off with sanitizing the yeast package and the scissors. And then we're dumping it in. And now we're going to shake this for about 30 seconds. When the wort from the anvil was going into the fermenter, we were already adding a lot of oxygen. We're basically just trying to mix around the yeast. So what this is doing at a high level, this is allowing the yeast to grow and multiply. So the new yeast can then eat up the sugar and create alcohol. So if you're doing this, make sure you're not shaking this for too long because you don't want to add too much oxygen to your wort because this would cause oxidation, which can set off flavors for your beer. All right, so now that we have the yeast added, we're going to go ahead and add our airlock, and we're going to let this sit in a cool, dark place for approximately 2 weeks. If you have a hydrometer, go ahead and take a reading, compare, see if it continues to change. If not, 2 weeks is probably just about, it should be fine. So just make sure to keep this in a cool, dark place. And then after it's done, you can go ahead and bottle. And once that's completed, you wait 2 more weeks and then you're ready to go. You could throw it in the fridge and you can drink. So that's it. We finished up the wit beer. Please like and subscribe. Make sure to follow us on Instagram. We'd appreciate that. If there's anything you notice we said or did wrong, please call us out so we can improve. But if anything, we'll see you next time. Peace. Not to be a hater, but maybe that was part of it. True. Alrighty. Come on over.
Oh,
yeah. So he's end it over here. Alright, first off, sorry Jeff. For the past few shots we've done, we have not done the clickety clack at all. So, our bad.